What on earth is wrong with you? I mean, I'm sitting here marveling at the fact that, this adventurous sense of yours, risking yourself being thrown into a North Korean gulag. Now this other place.
Soviet gulag.
Yeah, a Soviet gulag when Soviet Union is already gone. And be tortured by a North Korean prison guard, tickling your balls of a spicy kimchi for the rest of your life.
Ooh.
In my studio today, I've got this person that I'm meeting for the first time. I kid you not. I swear, really. I've never met this guy before. He's actually now seated on my right. I'm not going to pan the camera to him yet, but I got to tell you the reason why this young man is in the CCBTV studio right now on my show, The Chris Hansen Conversation. He is what we would call an intrepid traveler. This is the episode that I am coining as that one with the big kahunas. And I will tell you why this guy has probably got bigger kahunas than me as the story goes. Because I like to collect stories, and this guy's got stories to tell. And with me in the studio right now is John Yeow. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Thanks for being here, man.
Thank you for inviting me.
You look so young. I am jealous. What the fuck? How old are you, man?
You look young as well.
No.
I'm not kidding.
You heard the story of Pinocchio? Nose getting longer, my friend.
No, still the same. Really, I mean it.
Thank you for the compliment. Yes. But you look really, really young. How old are you? Or how young are you?
I'm turning 30. I'm 39.
That's not that fucking young.
Going to be 29.
Going to be 29. Okay, that's young. 30, not that young anymore. You know this friend of ours that we know? His name is Ben?
Right.
He's no longer young. He's an old cock. Yeah, here we go. Right. So, you're an intrepid traveler. I'm calling you the intrepid traveler. I've heard from certain quarters, and of course from our mutual friend about you. That's the reason why you're here. And because I've heard that you really make it such a habit to get around.
Yeah, kind of, actually.
Can it be said that you actually live out of your luggage?
Actually, to be honest, I was actually a homely boy. So to put a long story short, try to make it chronological.
No. You can give me a long story, man. This is what it's all about. It's a long story. It's okay. I collect stories.
So I used to be a homely boy. I like to stay at home. And when I was in secondary school, I didn't like to go out at all. I was very the exact opposite of what I would consider myself today. So because I didn't like to talk, I didn't like to socialize. Even at school, I wouldn't exactly talk to anyone. Yeah. So and I'll have recess sometimes, most of the time alone. Yeah, it's pretty much just about my kind of lifestyle when I was in school. So I would just go home after school, and my mom will be at home. She's a housewife, so we will be like, okay, we watch our own TV. I watch her TV. So yeah, so she liked to watch Cantonese shows. So that's why I know my pastime. What's my pastime? People ask me actually.
Watching Cantonese serials.
Cantonese serials.
Well, like Song Hoi Tan.
Something like that, yeah. Fart and all this. Right.
Okay.
So and moving on to poly, that was when things got a little bit better. I started to talk a little bit more.
Right.
So 17 was for many people, it's like, wow, they're already very prime. They're into this social life and everything. For me, that was the beginning.
Right.
Yeah. And it wasn't until a few years later, which was about back in 2018, that I started this traveling bug actually started hitting me.
How so? How did it all begin?
So before this, I was always at home watching
I know,
YouTube and about travel.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, about travel stuff.
Right.
So, but I wasn't interested to to go there. No. Just to I'm fine with sitting on my couch and watching about it. So this time in 2018, I was actually working.
Right.
I moved out home. Okay. So I was living I was renting a room with some other people.
Okay.
And then I met this friend, a Vietnamese friend at work.
Yeah.
So he actually drove me to go to Vietnam with him and his friends. So he said okay, we're gonna take care of you. Don't have to worry about anything. We'll just just take your money, but your brain don't need bring. We'll take care of you. The language barrier is not there.
It sounds as if you're gonna be trafficked, man.
Right. Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, think about it. You just give me the money.
Yeah.
Then you don't need to use your head. You just travel with us. Right. And then we will take care of you.
Right.
How old were you then again?
That was 5 years ago. I was 24.
Okay.
23.
No, then it's not trafficking. Don't worry about it.
Legal age already.
Right.
Right. So yeah, 23. Yeah.
Okay.
So went there. Actually, I was like, I didn't want to go because I was looking at the time I had a very tight budget for everything. I was saving this money that I was earning for my school because I dropped out of poly. So I actually dropped out of poly. So technically, I'm still O-level student.
Oh.
Yeah, that's my highest qualification.
Well, guess what, man? Me too. Also O-level student.
Really?
Well, yeah. Well,
Wow.
yeah, but I've never made it poly. You see, that's the difference. You made it to poly. I didn't.
Barely.
Nobody wanted me. Yeah. Okay. So you dropped out of poly. Don't mind me asking. What's the reason for you dropping out of
Oh,
poly?
it's a stupid reason. There's no reason actually. That's the worst thing because I didn't like to study, and that's it. I go into aviation. It's like a hybrid between aircraft modules and airport modules.
Yeah.
It's hybrid. So, but I just didn't like to study.
It's a pretty good course, right?
It's good.
Some
So
people would kill to get in there.
right. So totally wasted. I just didn't want to study, and that's it.
Okay.
So I dropped out after about 3 years.
Right.
I think one was the worst decision in my life.
3 years.
3 years, yeah. I flunked 2 modules, so it was supposed to be 3.5.
Right.
So I flunked 2. I decided to do,
Jeez, but you were almost at the finishing line.
right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
I'm not judging you. I'm not judging
No, I
you.
know. I
Yeah.
know it's okay.
Yeah.
Even if you do, I'm fine. I know.
No.
Not that you.
No.
Yeah.
I'm in no position to judge. But please do continue.
So essentially, that was the path I took. So after NS, I decided, okay, I have to work.
Right.
And things with family weren't doing too well
Okay.
in terms of most aspects.
Yeah.
So I decided to move out
Right.
and save this money for my study again.
Right.
It's 3 years late, but I thought to myself, I'm still trying to make up for it, right?
Right.
So, and then after 1 year of full-time job, my parents needed this money. So I moved out away from them.
Okay.
But they actually made a few phone calls to say, actually, can you help us? We actually need this money, and my savings was gone.
Right.
So that was the first time my savings had about 10K.
Right.
It's the very first milestone in my life, but I give it. So anyway, so it was back to square one.
Okay.
And what led up to this Vietnam trip was like, okay, so a few months after that, I was saving this healthy sum amount of money again. I was devastated, but life have to move on, right?
Yeah, pretty damn good saver, man.
So did it again, and my friend, this was the time my Vietnamese friend asked me, okay, do you want to go Vietnam?
Right.
And I was looking at air fees. There was like $110. It's so cheap, right?
Yeah.
In respect, but at that time, I was like, 110? Like, this is so fucking expensive.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and going to trip, the food itself, it would be like 400-500.
Yep.
That's the amount I'm looking at. So there's like about half amount of my savings. So I was like actually hesitating a lot to whether to go for this trip. Yeah. And somehow he managed to convince me, and okay, I'll just go. And I wasn't expecting anything at all, nothing that was impressed or life changing.
Right.
I just went there, everything changed. That was how this travel bug came.
Okay. What changed?
So the way of life in Vietnam when I first there, it was so different because I read on the news and all, but to experience it is another story.
Which part of Vietnam? Don't mind me
Ho Chi
asking.
Minh.
Ho Chi Minh. Okay.
So I met him in Ho Chi Minh. He went there to fetch me,
Right.
and then we took a bus about 5 hours, right?
Right.
It's like a little province outside Ho Chi Minh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So his friend lived there. So we took a bus, 5 hours, reached about 2 a.m.
Right.
And then we had to take like some kind of a minivan to go even deeper into the province.
Right.
And then another 20 minutes, motorbike, where his friends came. Then we just went like 2 a.m. There was nothing. There was just a cemetery there. So it was quite a creepy start.
Yeah.
So that moment was like, wow, this is so different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the start of everything.
Okay. So what do you enjoy about that? I mean, okay, you enjoy the fact that you got away from Ho Chi Minh City and you ended up somewhere where the locals really live.
Yeah.
And then you got to experience, what a country truly is like. Am I right?
Yeah.
And that
Exactly.
gave you that travel bug.
Yes.
Despite the fact, okay, so basically, you discover then that that based on this first experience, that is because there's an adventurer in you. Would you call yourself an adventurer, an adventurous person?
At the time, no. But
Right.
looking back, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so right now you can attest that it is now a fact
Yes.
that John Yeow is quite the adventurer.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Absolutely right, yes.
So this is where I need to. I'm sorry. I don't want to steal thunder away from you, and I promise you that I'm not trying to do so.
worry.
But the reason why I need to stop you here is because of these things on the plate. Now I'm going to ask you, man. Throughout, there are more questions for me to ask you about your travels, yeah, but this is going to be the first one.
Okay.
Throughout your travels, you've had cuisine from different countries.
Mm-hmm.
What was the weirdest thing you've eaten?
Weirdest. Well, this one will take a little bit of time.
Take your time.
Weirdest. I've not really been to Southeast Asia, so I wouldn't definitely not those little insects. No one near that.
Okay.
But you say something that was very.
Well, you've been to
different
Vietnam, though.
Mm-hmm.
Vietnam is part of Southeast Asia, isn't
We
it?
didn't go to like try those little things like that.
Okay.
Street food at most.
Street food. Okay.
Food.
So
we-
you've had street food.
Yes, definitely.
So now but you are Singaporean, born, bred, raised Singapore, and completed your national service, as you said, right? Do you know what these are on the table, on this plate?
It's like happy hour, right?
No, it's not.
I don't know. It looks like happy hour, but I'm not sure what it is, like, to be honest.
It looks like hapia. Actually, I never thought of it that way, but since you said it, it is not a hapia.
Okay.
This is an Indian a dish.
Right.
Okay, it's actually a snack. It's called vade.
Vade, okay.
Okay, and it's sponsored. And this is where I gotta look at the camera. It's sponsored by Gordon's Vades. Thank you again. Every time I have a guest on the show, dear old VJ from Gordon's Vades, you can see it's flash on the screen.
Right.
These are the fluffiest, crispiest damn Vades in the land. And you see on the screen, please contact gordonvade.com or WhatsApp at the number on the screen. This is what I'm going to ask you. The reason why I asked you this question, because you, as a Singaporean, a guy who's been traveling so intrepidly, doesn't know that this is part and parcel of what we have in Singapore.
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't say claim that this is a Singaporean dish, but it's certainly available because we're a melting pot of cultures, right? So I want to challenge you on this. Take a piece,
Okay.
and take a bite. Okay, you don't have to eat the shell. You can just go for the flour. Okay, and then take a bite off that chili, man. I'll do it with you.
Okay.
Okay, I hope you can
Cheers.
take this. Cheers, mate. Cheers. Take a bite off. How do you find the vade? Good?
It is good.
It is good,
It is
right?
good. It's not too. This texture is just right.
Just right, huh? Okay, great. Enjoy it, mate. You can eat during the show. Don't worry about it. Go right ahead. This is Gordon's Vades. One more time, thank you so very much. Really giving you airtime because we love you guys. You know, every time I do a show, and there are Vades on my desk in the studio. So thank you so very much. VJ, love you, man. Love you loads. And I'm glad you're enjoying that.
I am ready.
Okay, please go on munching away. This is really the best Vades you can find across the land. Now, okay, so you said hardly go around Southeast Asia, right? You hardly go around Southeast Asia. So you've been traveling outside of the region,
Right.
outside, of course, of Ho Chi Minh City. Okay, and wherever else within, after the boundaries of the city in Vietnam. Where have you been?
In Vietnam itself, just that time was about a 5-day trip.
Right.
4.5, I would say.
Right,
So we went to Ho Chi Minh
Right.
and his province for about 2 days.
right,
And then we went back to Ho Chi Minh for 2 days.
Right.
So it was a very short trip.
right. And then what happened thereafter?
You mean after the trip?
Yeah, after Ho Chi Minh, what do you do? I mean, how do you then, did you decide that I'm going to be traveling?
Actually, not quite yet.
Okay.
But it was like it was a spark.
Right.
Yeah. So after I came back, over there I explored the village life. I got to know how it really functioned.
Right.
Yeah. So his province is a very like farm family.
Right.
So his friend lives in kind of like a farm style.
Right.
They rear like chickens and cows.
So you stayed on the farm.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 days, and then Ho Chi Minh 2 days, and when I came back, something a little bit changed.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, could traveling, it's very interesting for me. It's something that I feel it changed me, definitely. In what way? Is Singapore really the kind of place that I want to stay? That was the first thought that came when I came back from Vietnam.
Right.
Yeah, is this a place that I see myself forever, or do I just want to go back to my couch and just read about news from my couch?
Right.
It's not something that maybe I should be more active. I'm
Right.
quite interested to actually explore places of different culture of regions.
Right.
Actually, what they're doing in this very place at this time.
Sure.
Yeah. So that was in 2018, and during June, it was announced that the Trump-Kim summit would actually take place in Singapore.
Yes.
Yeah. So and before that, before the announcement came out, actually I was looking at okay, what places should I go this year? What are some of the nice like unique places I can visit?
Yep.
So North Korea came out. Yep. Right. It was advertised. You know, we're having the 70th anniversary. So you know, like this communist countries or socialists, they really take these anniversaries very seriously.
Wait. Advertise where?
North Korea. It was like a website, traveling website.
But it was not advertised in any other travel company or travel agent here in Singapore.
It's like in a blog. No, not in Singapore.
No, okay. So you discovered about this online.
Something like a blog, yeah, from a blog, travel blog. Yeah.
Okay.
So like recommendations.
Travel blog, right? Yeah, recommendations, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So travel, come and visit communist countries
Right,
this year.
in a way like that, you know. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
weird.
and that somehow sparked an interest in
Right.
you. What the fuck, bro? I mean, look, okay, I can understand if I get on a travel blog. I love to travel too. Don't get me the wrong way, man. I mean, I'm an advocate for people. Get out of this country. Go out there and explore the
Right.
world, you know? But if I see something, right, like, hey, come visit North Korea, and I go, fat fucking chance, man. You're not going to find me in fucking North Korea. You're out of your freaking mind. Why? Why?
I think like I've always been interested in. So when I saw it, I was like, I had the same reaction. You know, it was interesting, but what the fuck? Like, who asks you to go to? Like,
I mean, yeah.
I get you. So at that time, I was reading up, and actually, it kind of like appealed to me because I've always been interested in Soviet history and the World War II, things like that.
Okay, wait. I'm going to stop you there. You've always been interested in Soviet history.
Right.
The Soviet Union. This is one young man who fucking knows the term, the Soviet Union. For those younger ones about your age even probably wouldn't even know what the fuck the USSR was all about. But I can understand when you say World War II. I'm a big kind of a big history buff on the World War II European theater. Okay, you can ask me anything about it, I can tell you. Okay, but the Soviet Union, bro. I mean, are you okay?
Maybe not. And that was what I thought, you know. Like I told my friends, like when I finally decided to go there, which in itself was a process.
Wait, you went to the Soviet Union
ended up
when
going.
it was the Soviet Union?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, not yet.
My God, you would have been too young.
I wish.
You would have been too young. That was the wall came down during Reagan and Thatcher's time.
But if it go to a place that is still Soviet, even now.
Really?
Right. There exists this place in the world that is still.
Okay, let's rewind back a little bit. Now, I want to hear about the Soviet Union story, but let's go back to, like, why the fuck North Korea?
Right. So, about Soviet history and things like that. So, it's something that I feel like it's more unique for me because I realize that I'm not someone who wants to go to places like US, London, Paris. This kind
It's
of
very ho-hum, huh?
Yeah, for me, it's more not that it's not good or I want to boast myself as something.
It's cliche already.
It's cliche for me.
Yeah.
So I wanted places that no one goes.
Right.
But not because to boast that I've been here.
Okay.
And no, not that. But
Okay.
more like what exactly is going on in these places.
Okay.
So why are no people visit? Like I feel there's more uniqueness in this kind of places. It's more. A lot of things that are stories are waiting to be told, but no one is there to tell the stories. No one is there to know what's even going on here. So I want to know, like, I don't want to know what's the Eiffel Tower. I mean, there are plenty of places like that in those regions that no one goes.
Right.
They're not explored. So I'm just really curious to in that direction.
Go off the beaten track.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So that is your reason of wanting to get your ass into North Korea.
Yeah.
To come back home for new ass.
Yes.
I mean, come on, dude. I mean, they could have ripped you apart, man. Okay, what happened? Did you eventually go?
Yes, I did.
You're shitting me. Okay, how long were you there for?
I was there for 11 days, but we were leaving on the morning of 11, so 10 days actually.
If you tell me 4 days, 5 days, okay, that's quite a stretch already. You're telling me 10 to 11 days.
It's quite a lot, yeah.
Jeez.
And there was actually a tour for 21 days. I actually wanted to go for that, but because of work, I couldn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you landed in North Korea.
Right.
And you landed in Pyongyang.
Yes. From Beijing. Yeah.
Okay, so from Beijing you flew
Yep.
to Pyongyang.
That's right.
So what happened when you left the plane? Did you have to go through immigration and customs? Of course.
Right. I
Right.
did.
So how was that? How was the experience?
Well, that was a good question. When we first arrived, so even on the plane there was a story. So I was expecting the plane to be full. I mean to be empty, like no one, just maybe a few tourists and that's it. No, it was completely full.
What?
Yeah, of
With
North
who?
Koreans.
Okay.
Yeah, they were going back for holidays because the day the
Where
tourists-
were they going back from? China?
China.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
right. Okay.
China. So it was for the National Day holiday,
Right.
or Independence Day.
Hmm.
So everyone, the North Koreans, that was the first encounter. Like whole plane was full.
Yeah.
Fuck, like flying fuck.
And you were the only Singaporean.
Yes.
You're traveling alone,
Oh, I had one more Singaporean. There was another Singaporean around my age.
but not traveling with you. No,
Oh,
you're traveling
with us.
companion. Okay.
Yeah.
So there were two of you traveling together.
Sorry. I have to. I knew him from China itself. So when
Oh, so you met him in China.
We met
You
him in China.
became associated with him in China.
we were in this office agency that before we go for these tours, we have to go to this office to hear about the rules and so on. So that was where I met him. He's not my traveling
Oh,
companion.
wow. Now I'm hearing more things. So you had to
Right.
go into this office to
Right.
hear about the do's and the don'ts.
Right, exactly.
Okay. And if you don't mind me asking, I don't care about the do's, but let's find out about the don'ts. What are the don'ts?
It's actually quite simple. It's just three main rules. So first, you cannot take any photos of military installations. That's for sure.
Okay.
Any military personnel, the standards in
Yeah.
the whole world.
Right.
So second will be like anything that portrays them in negativity. So
Right.
like
The negative
even
light.
Negative light.
Yeah.
Even like half-finished buildings, any construction trucks, things like that. You get the idea. Like any roads that looks really bad, you're not allowed to take photos of that.
Now, who's going to be checking on you when?
The tour group leader. So they have two leaders. One will be the tour guide. The other one usually is more, in a way, more junior assistant, I would say.
Right.
It's like an assistant to the group. Sometimes it can be both at the same.
So one of the tour guys is probably going to be one of their army officers or army intelligence officers, probably.
I never know. We never know. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So they told you no pictures. Don't put them in a bad light.
Right.
All right.
And no photos
No
of
photographs of military installations
Right.
and of military personnel as well as half-built constructed buildings
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Okay. And roads. Okay. Anything else?
The last one will be no photos of people without permission.
I mean of the general population.
That's right. Yeah. No interacting also.
No interacting.
Yeah. Unless instructed to. Unless given permission to.
You mean no interaction? So you can't go into a restaurant or a shop and buy stuff? There's interaction, isn't it?
Yeah, so in this kind of situation, when this is part of our itinerary, it's fine. But let's say we were on the streets, we saw some North Koreans, we are generally not supposed to, hey, how are you? Like, we're not supposed
You can't.
to do
You're not even supposed to greet them.
that. Not really. You can, I guess you can, but there's like, it's more, this is where things get more
Gray.
gray. Exactly, that's the right word. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it depends on the
I mean, what kind of a freaking holiday would that be, man? I mean, you're not really going to meet the locals, right? Okay. I mean, you see the locals, but you can't meet the
can't meet
locals,
them.
let alone greet the locals. Right. So tell me what happened. So on the plane, on the flight, there were mostly North Koreans. The one Singaporean guy you got to know during the tour briefing. You got to know him in China. You guys flew over there. You landed in Pyongyang. You got the fuck off the plane and you went over the customs and immigration. So what happened then?
So I was going past this conveyor belt.
Yeah.
So it was full of everyone. So I was actually, I wanted to take photos,
But they told
but
you
I
to...
knew that
Yeah.
I couldn't take photos.
Yeah.
So I actually I was feeling a bit more
Adventurous.
adventurous.
Backside itchy Singaporean.
Right.
Yes, okay.
So I actually asked someone in uniform.
Uh-huh.
I didn't care about uniform. I just had to ask someone in uniform, like,
Right.
can I photo?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I said it in Korean, but I
Oh, so
learned,
you learned Korean. How about photo?
just photo. Can I take photo?
Okay.
So I asked, okay.
He said okay.
It was a
She said okay.
Yeah, I
All
knew
right.
it's not exactly a consent,
Yep.
but I just, I asked,
Yep.
Yeah, I just say
And-
I want to take the clock. The
Yep.
there is beautiful with the time. They have time in Shanghai, time in USA.
Yep.
So I just want to take that.
Yep.
I wanted to take the whole belt, but and I took one, and some of the military guard,
Yep.
he saw it,
Yep.
and there was like he shouted across.
Wow.
I pretended to like
Not understand?
Yeah, so I just went on to do my thing at the cab already, and I was like looking for him back, things like that.
Right.
He came to me,
And
he asked me to come over.
then?
Yeah, and then he said like he said a lot of things in Korean. I didn't understand, but there was something, of course, it was scolding you,
Yep.
things like that. So he brought me to this place with another guy, 2 guys now, and they look at me like they like want to eat me up.
Really?
Yeah.
And it was in a room. They detained you in a room?
Not in a room. It was
No,
like so. This was the conveyor belt,
Right.
And right in front there are a few immigration counters
Yeah.
with a bag check spot.
Right.
So this is where you have to lay your bag out,
Yep.
and you have to take every single thing out from your bag, to
Right.
check one by one. Your clothes, your travel, your camera,
Yeah.
all these
Everything that you've
items.
got. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yep.
that was where they brought me to.
Yep.
And then they start opening my bag. They got the tour guide, one of the guides, to translate for me.
Right.
You know,
Right.
while you're taking photos and things like that.
Right.
It was quite
Intimidating.
intimidating.
Mm.
Yeah.
And what happened?
They
They
took
checked your picture.
Yeah, they took my phone and they went off
And
to some room.
Uh-huh.
So I was without my phone, but I had a guide, so it's fine.
right.
One of the guide, she was not my guide, but she spoke English, so
Yeah.
she looked nice.
Okay.
Yeah. So they really asked why did you take photos. I said I asked for permission, but because I said I want to take the clock, and
Yeah.
So they deleted the photos. After like 15 minutes, they got back to me, and the photos were gone.
Okay. Then
Yeah.
they told you you could go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they checked my bag. They really did the very stringent one for my bag.
Right.
Like really exceptionally stringent.
Well, of course, there were
like
no
I had a
issues.
toilet roll, I think, in
Yeah.
my bag. They
Yeah.
they were also looking at the roll to see if there was any. Yeah, it was very.
Whether anything was written or encrypted
Yeah,
onto the
right.
top. Are you shitting me, right?
Yeah, they really checked for these things.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. And then, but they did let you go
Yeah,
eventually.
they did let me go. So, but it was quite tense. It was really tense at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of shouting, a lot of these eye stares at me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wasn't scared, to be honest, but I had to.
Oh, come on. How can you not be scared?
I was prepared for it. So,
Really?
Yeah. It wasn't comfortable, but I expected it to come.
Okay.
Because before I took the photo, I know there's a chance that I will get, but this is legit. I want to take the clock.
Right.
So yeah, so I was prepared. Okay, I'm going to get to a room, which I didn't even,
Mhm.
thankfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even if I got, I think I would be quite calm. to-
Okay, so how was after that when you left the airport? I mean, how was your trip in general in North Korea? You were only around Pyongyang, right? They didn't allow you to travel out of Pyongyang, I'm
our
sure.
itinerary actually went off Pyongyang.
Huh?
Yeah, we did.
Well, that's surprising.
So we were slated to go for a few places. One of them is called Kaesong. So Kaesong is close to the border with South Korea. So this is where they have their 38th parallel.
Yeah, the 38th parallel. Yeah.
So we went to the JS, I forgot the name for that, the JSO or something, the Joint Security Area, JSA.
Yep, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were technically almost able to cross to the
To
South
South
Korean
Korea,
side.
yeah.
But the person holding the key for the huts, the blue huts, the UN huts. So like at this border,
Right.
there are a few. There's a demarcated line,
Yep.
and then between these there are a few huts, blue colored ones.
Oh, so that's the US.
the UN.
The UN.
UN
Okay,
managed huts.
blue. Okay, right.
So technically, you can actually go inside and you can cross to the south.
You can?
Technically, you can, but the guy holding the keys weren't there, so we didn't manage to go into the room.
Right.
Yeah, but we were so close to
But that's only for tourists.
tourists. Yes,
But of course, not for the local North Korean
No,
citizen.
not for locals.
And that would-
You can try. You get shot.
yeah,
they have a
well.
lot of stories about that.
Oh
so.
yeah, loads of stories about that. Yeah. So what else was interesting in your trip to North Korea?
At that time, one of the main reasons I went there was for the military parade. So it's a very
Oh, yeah.
huge
Yeah.
military. You see on the news, they have like this huge trays of
Yeah, and
really big
choreographed stuff and stuff,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, all kinds of choreographed performances.
right.
Yeah.
And we also had mass games.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Olympic ceremony where they have it's like a performance, but they have these people at one side of the stadium. They actually have this kind of what they call it placards.
Yeah.
So they form like these performances using placards.
Right.
So it's like a screen.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's actually by the people themselves. They
Oh.
train for months to do these performances.
Wow.
Yeah. So one person start and the whole thing will flip. It's like Kalang Wave but with design.
Right.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So did you see the great leader?
I did. Yes, he was seated like two 2 blocks.
This
away
would be
from-
Kim Jong-un, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the only one you would see with that. Yeah, it was very visible.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it was really near to me, quite close.
Really,
Yeah,
how close?
So like this was the stadium, and he was here in the center.
Yeah.
We were like just 2 blocks away,
Really?
about 150 meters away.
Wow.
Yeah, this is really not far. We could
Right.
see him.
And you looked at him, you watched his demeanor.
Yeah, it's just like, just normal.
Scary guy.
No.
No.
Just watching a show and
Right.
clapping. A lot of the clapping was really long. So
Yeah.
It
When he claps, everybody make sure that they clap
Yeah,
with him.
yeah,
Right. Everybody better make sure they clap.
Yeah.
Did you clap?
oh yeah, we did. Right. So yeah.
So what's your takeaway of North Korea, man, on this trip? For this trip?
It really feels like time travel back to the 80s. It was like China before it opened up,
Yeah.
kind of vibes. So the music on the streets are really in the 80s.
Hmm.
It's all propaganda kind of TV shows.
Mm.
There was only one channel we tried to tune the control. It was all government stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know,
they made sure that
Military bands.
nobody could see what's happening outside.
Right,
That's
yeah.
a hermit country.
Yeah.
It's not funny you should say that. It's like China before it opened. I was sort of there when they were just opening up, and believe you me, man, it was scary.
Wow. Why?
I was
Why do
in
you say it's
Shanghai.
scary?
I was in Shanghai, and I was there to host an event.
Back in those days, even.
Well,
you
man,
were-
this was in 1998, if I'm not mistaken. And Shanghai Airport wasn't like the Shanghai Airport today. Trust you me. So when we arrived, there were 2 queues at immigration. One for the locals and one for foreigners.
Foreigners.
And there's a yellow line, right? You don't step beyond the yellow line.
Okay.
Now, in the local queue, there was a local lady waiting to get her passport stamped. She's coming back home, and her foot was on the yellow line. And this PRC soldier, who is a lady as well, approached her and scolded her wholesale in front of all the foreign tourists and told her to get her foot off the line. And this lady sort of retorted, and she got slapped.
By the soldier.
Yeah, in full view of everyone. And I tell you, all of us started looking down to see whether we were stepping on the yellow line. Oh, gosh. And, the place that we were at, we were launching.
Right.
It was a bar. It was a Singapore-owned business.
Right.
And in that neighborhood, the parties are crazy, man. We started the party at like about maybe 2:30 in the afternoon.
Okay.
The crowd, it was summer, and it was really like long days and short nights. And the crowd actually started coming in about 10 p.m.
Right.
It
So-
started getting dark at 10 p.m., about there. And then in between all that, the neighborhood of mostly older people, old people, wearing the Maoist dress, the Maoist
Right. The
uniform,
old-
kind of
yeah.
the very old type, and they were about to riot at the gate of the premise because they were saying that no one is sharing the profits with them. Yeah, it was quite an eye-opening experience. That was my first ever trip to China. And it was Shanghai, mind you. It wasn't like some other far-flung province or something, like Shenyang or whatever. It was Shanghai.
Yeah.
But this was a long time ago. So, yeah, I get it. I get it when you say that, when you go to North Korea, it's like the 80s before China opened up. Yeah, but believe me, back then in the 90s-something that I was there, it was more like the damn 70s.
Right.
Yeah, so I get it. But I'm not crazy like you. You see, I didn't deliberately want to go there. I went there because it was good money to be paid, so I went,
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, tell me about the USSR. Yeah, okay, you said earlier on the show that there are still pockets, I'm
Right.
pretty sure there is, of maybe, I don't know, what, province, territory,
Yeah.
that's predominantly still believes that in Soviet Union
Yep.
and still predominantly communist. Tell me more about that.
So I think the communism ideology is, the USSR might have fallen, but the ideology is the mental side of USSR is still alive for sure. It's definitely alive in lots of part of these countries, the post-Soviet countries, the 15 countries that are dissolved. And there is actually this territory beside Ukraine, to the left of Ukraine, so which is to the in between Romania and Ukraine, which is Moldova.
Moldova. Yeah, Moldova. Yeah,
and
okay.
within Moldova itself, which is a very tiny strip of
very tiny strip of land, landlocked, isn't it?
Landlocked.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there is actually another smaller strip of land in Moldova itself, which is considered a breakaway region. It's called Transnistria.
Transnistria.
Yeah, that's right.
And what do you mean by breakaway region?
So when USSR was about to be dissolved, so this part of Moldova was not really Moldovians, because Moldovans speak Romanian mostly.
Okay, so the Moldovians actually have Romanian heritage.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, and
so,
but this, how do you pronounce that?
Transnistria.
Transnistria didn't want. Okay, basically they want to remain communist.
Right.
Okay, that small sliver of
sliver of land. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they are not pro-communist, but they're pro-Russian.
Right.
They have actually the heritage is pretty mixed. They have Bulgarians living inside.
Yeah.
They have Ukrainians. They have Russians.
Right.
They have Moldavians. So it's actually very diverse.
Right.
Culturally diverse.
Right.
But that part of land, the people there, they feel like they belong to Russia.
Okay.
They have more roots with Russia.
But that's Russia, not necessarily the ideology of communism, right?
Actually, the government itself in that land, so they were fighting this war when it was about to be dissolved. So Moldova and Transnistria was fighting.
They were at war.
They had a
So
brief
it's
war.
more like it's not civil war, but it's war.
Civil war kind of thing.
Oh, civil war, because Transnistria is part of Moldova.
Yes.
They're not a separate independent entity.
No.
Not one of the breakaway states.
So in the UN, they were recognized as part of Moldova.
I see.
But when you go there, it's different story, because they have their own army.
Right.
They have their own checkpoint.
Wow.
They have their own money.
Their own borders.
Own government, yes. So
right. Their own currency.
Right. So de facto wise, it's under Moldova, but de jure, if I'm wrong, the right word to call it, de jure is not under Moldova.
Right.
Yeah, they have everything is under their own terms.
Right.
Yeah.
So
they're actually guarded by Russian troops.
So it's like the Empire and the rebels, Star Wars.
Way,
yeah. Okay.
Right. You're right. So
okay. So these guys are strictly still. See, don't tell me you went there.
Yeah, I went there. Yeah.
Transnistria.
That's right. That was the first. That was actually one of the main reasons why I went. For the reason why I started this travel, it was for Transnistria.
What the fuck's wrong with you, man?
Yeah, I know,
mean, why are you going to places that you know you're going to get screwed so badly?
Right.
Did you get screwed up down there?
Not really, but there was a few situations. It was quite interesting.
Like what? Name me one.
I was taking photos because I just bored. Yes.
Again, there's got to be fucking photos. Singaporeans, man. I mean, we're getting as bad as Japanese, man.
Like Otto Warmbier.
No, that was. Yeah.
Right. I was taking with my camera. So.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah.
So there were two guys that noticed me, and they went up to me and told me they asked me for my documents in Russian. They couldn't speak English. So I pretended not to understand what they mean, because I mean, inside I'm like, come on, fuck off. So yeah, I mean, who are you? Because I mean, before I went, I read about all the possibilities of what I can face.
Yeah.
Like
what? Yeah.
Bribery.
Okay.
This is one of, because in Eastern Europe is
it's rampant. Yeah.
It's rampant.
Okay.
It's not, but surprisingly, it's pretty good. But that's for another story.
Okay.
So anyway, these two guys went up to me and asked me repeatedly for my documents. They didn't say passport. And they didn't.
So were they officials? I mean, were they wearing uniforms and like that?
They were in plain clothes. That's why I didn't want to.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah.
But I couldn't say that, right?
Yeah.
So I just said I don't understand them in Russian. I don't understand you. And I was trying to go, and then they stopped me. They tried to lock me in this position. But my view was I wanted to bring them to this open air restaurant, which was not far away, and I will give them my passport there. But not here. Just you and me. I don't know what
not privately. Okay.
Yeah, not privately.
Okay.
So at that time, it happened for a few minutes. I don't understand. I want to go. So and they stopped. This guy came out of nowhere. He was a really big size, really bulky.
Yeah.
He came out middle of me. He pulled me to one side, and he said, asked me to wait. he also didn't speak English, and he took them to one side, and they were like, I think he was scolding them,
Right.
the two guys.
Okay.
So they were like like that. They were looking down,
Yeah.
and like kind of like little mouse
Right.
posture.
Okay.
And it was like, all Russian, all the words, and
Yeah.
I was hearing from one side.
Yeah. And then.
He scolded for some time.
Yeah.
And he went back to me. He said, passport. Just
Right.
give me passport. And I didn't know it was collaboration,
Right.
Who knew,
Yeah.
but I just gave it because I saw two guys behind, not far. They were wearing uniform. They
Right.
called militia, which
Yeah.
is their police, but they were in
Militia.
army police, army
Right.
uniform. So I asked them like, hey, are these two guys your guys? So he looked at them. He said, yeah. So, okay. I feel more safe.
Mhm.
So he was there. They were there like talking about something. And then he returned me the passport. And this guy told me, the guy who helped me, he said like, look, you should stop taking photos. Maybe you should come with us to our home because you are being watched because you're a foreigner, you're taking photos.
Right.
Yeah, you've got attention.
Yeah.
So, we think you should come to our home.
Home.
Yeah, home.
As in
To their homes.
whose home?
That guy who helped me.
Oh, that guy's home.
Right.
Well,
So-
he must be, okay, but this guy must be someone in some position of authority, isn't it?
No, he wasn't. But he was I think he was scolding them because, from what I understood, like he's just a foreigner, he doesn't know anything. What are you trying to
Well, still, he's just a normal
some
guy
normal guy trying
on
to
the
help.
street.
He-
Wow.
He was from the restaurant that
Right.
I wanted to bring them to.
Right.
Yeah, so he came up and I saw his kids, his wife came over as well. He said like, hey, you should really come to our home to have protection, something like that,
And
Yeah,
you did.
I refused because I didn't know if this was another.
You set up.
Yeah, I was even more like worried, from the street
Another
to the house.
situation where John
Right.
Yeow could have been trafficked.
Right.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
pretty
I mean-
like unnerved.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. But you were traveling alone for this trip.
Yeah,
Alone.
Right.
Yeah, nutcase, man.
Yeah. So
Yeah, freaking nutcase. Okay, then what happened? You went back. You the whole situation did. Basically, it was.
averted.
Well, I wouldn't
In a
say
way.
averted. Diffused. It was diffused.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then after which you went on your merry way and you
Right.
okay.
They
And
were insisting.
Yeah.
I said no. They gave me the number in case like, okay, if you get invited by the police
Right.
to the station,
Yeah.
just call this number if you get into trouble. So okay.
well, it must be people of certain standing in order for them to tell you that you can take their number down, isn't it?
No, I think it's purely that they really wanted to help
Well,
me.
genuine people, huh?
Yeah. So
That's
this is-
nice.
Right.
That's really nice. But you know something? I mean, what on earth is wrong with you? I mean, I'm sitting here marveling at the fact that, this adventurous sense of yours, risking yourself being thrown into a North Korean gulag. Now this other place.
Soviet gulag.
Yeah, a Soviet gulag when Soviet Union is already gone, and be tortured by a North Korean prison guard, tickling your balls of a spicy kimchi for the rest of your life. I mean,
I'm not sure if they even give kids.
I mean, I'm just thinking, what's wrong with this guy? I mean, I admire your courage. I admire the spirit
Thank
to
you.
travel, but God forbid, man, I will never put myself in a spot like
Right.
that. If my son comes to me one day and tells me he's going to do this kind of travel, I'm going to kick him
You're
real
gonna
hard.
Slap him like soldier.
Yeah, no,
I'm
not
kidding, I'm
that.
kidding.
I'm going to kick him in the butt real hard, man. So, this traveling of yours,
Right.
having seen cultures, having experienced all this, gives you a richness in life, doesn't it? Yeah. Has it changed your beliefs and values?
Yes, it did.
How so?
Before like I started traveling, I was thinking like essentially the main things were okay, I'm going to stay in Singapore,
Mhm.
like just to work and then to get married is really like the very normal lifestyle.
Mhm.
But when I travel, I realized that actually this is not the life that I want.
Mm.
And when I come back, I don't want to be in this same system where I have to work for people and then I have to get married and to do the things that mainstream things.
Yeah, conventional mainstream
Yeah.
stuff. Okay.
And like I realized that the more I do this, the more I actually want to travel to more places like that to feel this kind of raw kind of like adventure.
Okay, so right now you're not married.
No,
You're not
not
planning
dating.
to get married.
No,
Not attached.
no. I don't plan to. Definitely not for the time being.
What the? Okay, you're working.
Yeah, I'm working.
Okay.
I just got back, so I'm having to start work. That will be next month.
You mean a new job?
Yeah, a new job. That's right.
Right.
Because
Don't mind me asking, what do you do for a living?
I'm in hospitality.
You're hospitality.
So like specifically F&B. So
Okay.
I'm a waiter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was
Okay.
what I did since leaving poly.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of saving for you to do, huh?
Yep.
To travel about.
Still fine. I spent about 14,000 in 7 months, which is still okay, I guess. It can be
Okay.
cheaper, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Have you ever traveled to a place that drastically exceeded your expectations?
Expectations. I think I would have 2 places in mind. It
Uh-huh.
would be Poland. I didn't
Wow.
go there for a long time, just a few days.
Wow.
But Poland is, in my opinion, is pretty underrated. It's
Really?
like, yeah, it's part of EU.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
I was
know.
expecting things to be pretty much like the EU,
Mhm.
you know, like in Austria, Germany. But actually, it was very cheap. It was really cheap, and the sites were really beautiful. Like they have a lot of
How
beautiful.
about the people? How about the people? How about safety? How about,
It's completely safe to me.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. And
So you think-
people-wise,
So Poland's underrated, you're saying?
yeah, to me. Yeah.
Okay. Convince me, man. Why should I, because I've never been on my travel list, why should I travel to Poland?
Okay, so definitely the cheap is very cheap, but of course, cheap is not something that not everyone will say like, oh, because it's cheap I need to travel. For some, I have the money, so why do I need to travel even if it's cheap, right?
No, fuck,
So-
I don't mind going to a cheap country, man.
So
yeah.
it's really cheap. Like
Yeah.
for example, the hostel I was staying at,
Yeah.
you can find accommodation for like $6,
No way.
which was way cheaper than the Balkans. Which Balkans I expected the opposite, but it was way more expensive than Balkans. I mean,
way more
expensive
cheaper.
than-
Way
Yeah, way more cheaper than
cheaper
Balkans.
than the Balkans.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah,
All right.
and of course they have a lot of beautiful places like Wrocław. In spelling wise, in English, it would be called Wrocław. That was what I thought before I went there. It's
Okay.
like WRO and a claw.
Yeah.
So I went, oh, can I go to Wrocław? And like people were looking at me.
How do you spell that? How do you pronounce it again?
Wrocław?
Wrocław.
Yeah.
Gosh, how the hell did
Right.
Wrocław become Wrocław? Right.
So yeah, that was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So it's beautiful places. They speak English predominantly.
They do. They
Right.
learn English.
Have you
as
been to
well.
Portugal?
No.
No. Okay. Because it doesn't burn a hole in your pocket either. If you put that in your bucket list.
Right.
Yeah, really. I've been there and I love it.
And which part of Portugal did you go?
I was in Lisbon.
Lisbon.
Yeah,
Right.
and but so far the favorite place that we've been to would be Norway.
Wow.
I love Norway.
Wow.
We were there for a month.
Were you with the intent to see the Northern Lights as well? Did
No,
you
we
manage
didn't.
to see?
We didn't see we didn't manage to see the Northern Lights when we were there. I think Northern Lights would be better if you've gone to, say, Finland.
Finland,
You know,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
But we just love Oslo, and we traveled 7 hours by train in what is mooted to be the most beautiful train ride in Europe, and that is a train ride from Oslo to Bergen, the first capital of Norway.
Right, all the way north, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right, all the way north.
Right.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. I mean, God's not good green earth, but God's good white earth, because we were there during Christmas. You know, it was beautiful.
Right.
Yeah. So put that in your bucket list too.
will.
Travel there. But I think you're a nutcase, dude. I mean,
Oh,
what's the
man.
next step? Cuba?
I hope that's the
Cuba?
Actually, yeah,
I thought so.
yeah, Cuba for sure. But I heard, I've seen like it's quite a tourist trap for me. What I've seen.
Really?
Of course, I've not been there. I'm not in a position to say, but from what I read, it's pretty much.
But I've spotted Vietnam, North Korea. Well, that place where it's still Soviet, according to you.
Moldova, yeah.
Moldova, Transnistria,
Yeah.
right? And then the former Eastern Bloc, Poland,
Right.
And then now Cuba. I mean, dude, you got what is this about communist countries and you?
I think like communism, the system that more like the legacy left.
I'm going to
by-
be airing the show. Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay,
Yeah,
of course.
okay.
So
yeah.
like the legacy that communism left,
Uh-huh.
like in terms of in a tourist perspective, I think it's really interesting for me. because like you're seeing things that because Singapore used to be one of the places where actually communism almost took place. So we almost lost to the communists, right? In those Lee Kuan Yew days, in the 50s, 60s, we were fighting this so much. And to be able to see something that Singapore most experienced, I think it was really interesting. A different way of life. It's not that I'm for the ideology.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Okay, you are saying you're not advocating
no, definitely
communism,
not.
right?
No way. No.
But I'm just wondering. I mean, the interest to travel to communist nations,
right,
is
the way of life. You know,
to understand the way of
mentality,
life.
Because
are they different?
Very different. So I was trying to test out my hypothesis towards how they feel, how the people feel. So sometimes when I visited the places, like for example in Moldova, it was a good example. I went to this flea market to look for some Soviet coins. And Soviet souvenirs. So I met these people. We were talking about in Russian, broken Russian. So I was asking them, "How do you feel about Soviet Union? You know, how do you feel about those days? Do you feel?" And I just asked them, "How do you generally like?"
Right. So it's basically you're interested in finding out how
people
live differently from us, especially for those who are either in communist countries or former communist countries, and how they are coping now. So it's a point of interest and it's a cultural interest. Right. Okay.
And some of them actually told me that they miss the Soviet Union. Yeah, but of course we have to put it more simply, she misses it because she said during that time a lot of things were free. She didn't have to worry about homes because the government would give them. It was much more simpler. Like they could afford things readily, because they have the coupons and they just go and they receive it. It's normal. But now, after socialism fell, life is really hard for them.
Sure, but maybe it's because they are older citizens and they don't have much time to get used
the new
to capitalism.
So there was also another side. So I heard like different perspectives.
I see.
Yeah. So some of them they say, "Thank God." This is
but
gone.
now the Soviet Union's collapsed. Then you've got supposedly democracy, supposedly, and then now it seems to be more of an autocracy than anything else, isn't it? Yeah. Well, that's one place that we shouldn't be traveling anytime soon. Have you ever been lost or stranded while you were traveling?
When I was hiking, yeah.
Where did you hike?
That time was in one of them was in Japan. One of them was in Montenegro.
Montenegro. Oh my goodness, you went hiking in Montenegro.
Yeah.
And where the hell did you go hiking in Japan?
Japan was
not in that crazy forest, right? Where people go.
No, not that one.
No, not that one. Thank goodness for that.
I wouldn't be here.
Oh, so you're not that adventurous after all.
I have kind of some fear towards the supernatural. I not that I super believe, but I believe it exists. Well, and I shouldn't put myself in the environment where I can.
So at least it's something you don't go chasing after.
Yeah, not that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Montenegro, man. You got lost. You were alone.
Yeah, I was alone.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm always alone.
And what do you arm yourself with going into the forest? Was it a forest that you went hiking in?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like this monastery. It's called Ostrog.
Right.
It's not far from the capital city, so it's about 1 hour train ride to that place, and then you have to hike for about 2 hours to get to the monastery. So it's actually
it's getting you away from the train station to the monastery,
which is like a hiking path.
It's a hiking path with no civilization around, no towns, no little villages, nothing, hamlets, nothing.
No.
Right.
Just a road with empty roads.
Empty road with what? With what on the left? What's on the right?
There's nothing at all.
It's just flatland.
Yeah, just flatland. Just like a mountainous region with some roads built for people to travel past, and you have to hiking.
And then you got lost.
Yeah.
And
I got lost when I was.
Then what happened? There's no GPS working in your phone too, right?
I had GPS, but I needed to get. So I was like going up this path, and I took a wrong turn.
Right.
And I actually went up to this place where there were a lot of trees in front of me, like overgrown trees with bushes and thorns.
Right.
So I was kind of stuck there. I wanted to go back, but according to my GPS, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
It's easier to just go up than to go back down and find it away.
Right.
So I got stuck for about 1 hour trying to find my way through to crawl.
And there was no one else around.
No one.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what happened?
Just had to persevere, but it was really tough because
you followed the GPS anyway.
Yeah.
And you went ahead.
I went ahead.
And you did find the monastery.
Yes, because I knew I saw a road, like some kind of like just a small road for cars to pass, and I know once I reach there, I'm good.
Okay, so essentially, you arrived at the monastery, and why did you want to go to the monastery?
Oh, it's just for beauty. It's like it's actually a monastery that's carved into the wall.
Right, but there are monks in the monastery.
Yeah, not really. We don't call them monks. I think we call
abbots.
them
no, it's got to be monks. Monastery.
No, I don't think
it's Catholic, right?
Yeah, Catholic.
Yeah, so
are they called monks?
Monks, yeah.
All right. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know about that, but yeah.
Yeah, usually, yeah. Okay, so, well, you see, gone to a monastery, don't know they're called monks. What the hell is wrong with you, man? Okay, that's where you got lost. You went in there, but after you came out of the monastery, you have to go the same beaten path back to the train station.
By right, yes.
Yeah, but by left?
By left, I got lost. So I went to look for a local. I said, hey, do you know how to get out of this place?
Yeah.
Because it was pretty late. It was like 5.
Right.
I was supposed to leave at that time, but I missed the last train. So I asked some locals if you could, anyways, taxi or any shuttle bus that goes by, or hitchhiking, things like that. So there was this guy who I asked the bus driver. He's going to a town.
Right.
So I got on the taxi ride for a few dollars, about $10.
Right.
Yeah. So
and then you managed to make it for your last train.
Yeah.
Okay. One last question before we say goodbye.
Okay.
Any advice for people who love to travel?
Wow. Who love to travel. I think it depends on, it really depends on what kind of traveling they're looking for. But if you would like to travel, I really recommend that you try more of solo trips if possible, or maybe let's say you want to do it together. You can try places that are really not so
solo trips. Yeah, okay.
They are more well-known, not so well-known.
Right.
Off the beaten path, because these are the places to just go with the flow. When you're there, because these experiences are priceless.
So the mantra would be, when you're on holiday, don't worry about getting lost, because it's a holiday anyway. Yeah. Find out more, discover new places and new people.
Sometimes
new
we have like a desire to, we have to go here, we have to go there. This trip is, day 1 we have to be here, day 2 here and there. But I think sometimes we should be more relaxed about it.
Right.
We just go a little bit more with the flow, because these are the times where you actually turn into an experience that you never forget, which was what happened for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any advice of people who don't like to travel, or not inclined to travel?
Don't like to travel.
Or not inclined to travel.
Not inclined to travel. I think traveling is a very good way to experience something that is very different. Let's say if I'm Singaporean, I work every day, for whatever reasons I don't like. I think they should try. They should still try. Maybe as a reason for themselves to, hey, I should do some therapy, in the sense of like, okay, I don't like to travel, but maybe you can explore somewhere near, just something that is close to you,
right?
And something that is like still off the beaten track.
Okay.
Yeah.
Start small, you mean?
Start small. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, John, thank you so very much for being on my show. That was John Yeow, and it's good that we have him on the show, because this guy has such big kahunas. He travels anywhere he can go alone. You heard the story today, and it's good that we have him here before he gets abducted by aliens. So it's a good thing that we've got him on the show. Thank you so very much for being here. And again, thank you so much, Gordon Zavades. It's been great, really. Thank you so much. Keep them coming. We'd love to have more of your Vades. This is Chris Hansen for the Chris Hansen Conversation. I'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.